Call the Oscars woke all you want for awarding Best Picture in 2014 to the finest film of 2013, 12 Years a Slave, cinema that doesn't just accurately capture history, but requires us to inhabit it. This is a film brutally capturing the factual brutality of the transatlantic slave trade, a reality undeniable as it is unfathomable. And yet, British director Steve McQueen does more than deliver a portrait of sadistic inhumanity, a portrayal many may mistakenly perceive as black misery porn. He actually manages to embed an overlooked but powerful elucidation of faith and perseverance. This trait reveals itself in all sorts of ways throughout the 134-minute runtime, even in one of its toughest scenes to watch. And this is where, in a single unbroken visual, I believe the best shot of the film lies. Or hangs. First, just a little context. If it's been too long since you've seen 12 Years a Slave, or if you've never seen 12 Years a Slave, the film follows Solomon Northup, a real-life person hoodwinked back into slavery despite being a free man living free in upstate New York. This is not historical fiction, it's purely historical. Here, at this point in his story, Northup is tolerating a horrifying torture, and for what? For having the audacity to defend himself against a cruel plantation carpenter. How dare he, am I right? So in retribution, the cruel carpenter, played heinously by Paul Dano, attempts to execute him but is interrupted by the plantation owner's overseer. This cruel carpenter is severely advised to flee, since he has no right to kill someone else's slave. However, the overseer is no saint either. He leaves Northup to stand on just the tips of his toes, with his feet tied together, his hands in a knot behind his back, and a noose around his neck, for hours, while the overseer waits for the plantation owner's arrival. Northup sustains a purgatory between breaths in the meantime. To understand why I believe the forthcoming shot is the film's most potent of all, we do have to stomach it in full. So here it is. The first thing to notice is the length. On average, mainstream cinema doesn't let a shot last more than 3 to 6 seconds. Solomon Northup, bravely and expertly performed by Chiwetel Ejiofor, struggles in the frame for 1 minute and 25 seconds. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Steve McQueen, never cutting away, uses time as violence. We are forced into experiencing and imagining Northup's own torment, forced to feel just a fraction of the discomfort and pain, the suffering and turmoil he was forced to endure. We beg, as Northup begs, for it to end. I can't say for certain if McQueen chose specifically 1 minute and 25 seconds, or 85 seconds, for a specific purpose, but it is interesting if you subtract 85 from 1841, the year this incident really took place, you get the year 1756. That is about smack dab in the middle of the 18th century. It was when the transatlantic slave trade was at its apex. British ships transported tens of thousands of Africans annually, and America began making its slave codes more brutal and more dehumanizing in order to prevent further escapes and uprisings. This could very well be why Northup was punished for all to see the way he is. Someone like Michel Foucault would corroborate this point. The spectacle is the purpose. It's governance through terror, controlling the living by displaying the dying. 1756 was also the exact year the 7 Years' War began between Britain and France, an international conflict that even took place in locales such as the Caribbean, Guadeloupe, Jamaica, and Saint-Domingue, Haiti today. These territories became contested arenas for colonial control, disrupting and reshaping the very economies and routes trafficking human beings. The confrontational and uncomfortable duration of this shot deepens the weight of the moment, of the period, and of the truth. I don't mean literal silence. I mean no dialogue and no music. Just the air, the earth, and the strained act of survival. Natural and unnatural ambience infiltrates. Steve McQueen, refusing Hans Zimmer's derivative score, weaponizes stillness. We hear the unnatural ambience of squelching mud from Solomon Northup's toes pressing in, and the rope groaning under tension. This is meant to make us feel bound, to make us feel strangled. It can only make us feel a smidgen of what Northup really went through, but it is important for it to try the best it can to put us in his position. But layered under this unnatural ambiance is the natural ambiance. Birds, breeze, insects, trees, melodious sounds we typically associate with lazy summer afternoons, the sort of sonic backdrop you might reminisce from childhood, playing outside without a care. Those soundscapes from those days were plausibly present for barbaric moments such as this. It's made all the more chilling when you stop to consider the very square footage of dirt your home is built on is possibly tainted with blood. Friedrich Nietzsche has noted the indifference of nature. It keeps its breath steady whether life dies or survives. Birds will belt out, the breeze will blow, the bugs will buzz, and the trees will sway regardless of Northup's noose loosening or tightening. The reticence is deafening. What happens in the background is heartbreaking. Other unfortunate slaves emerge, slowly and cautiously. They keep their heads down, they keep their mouths shut, they go about their business. They don't assist, help, intervene, or rescue Solomon Northup, dreading a similar fate if they were to do so. The constant state of fear has its grip firmly on them. Except one courageously compassionate woman who quietly approaches with some water, providing it to his lips without words. In a way, Steve McQueen doesn't let us off the hook. We are not passive observers. We are implicated witnesses. Would we have assisted, helped, intervened, or rescued? We would like to fancy ourselves as someone who would, and honestly, there's no way to know, but it's highly unlikely. This also shows how acts like this have become so commonplace, they've become mundane. After this shot, as you can see, it's become so ordinary that kids are playing about as if nothing is happening. The extreme malevolence is absorbed into the regular rhythm of the hour. Plato, in The Republic, warns if injustice is repeated often enough, it can and will become invisible, how it can and will reshape the soul to accept such injustice as normal. What we see in this mise-en-scène is not solely Northup's punishment, but the desensitization of the punishment. An unbroken attribute throughout the film, life, and temperament of Solomon Northup is his resilience. He never relinquishes, he never slacks, he never yields, even in the face of death. Albert Camus was a believer in living and surviving as the ultimate form of defiance, a refusal to capitulate to the whims of the wicked, withholding of an oppressor's will wholesale. Many in Northup's position, including many of us, definitely me, might have lifted their feet and let the rope do its work to get death and or their enslavement over with. Yet Northup tolerates burning lungs, fading vision, and tearing muscles. He possesses superhuman optimism due to his unmovable hope from his unshakable faith, determined to be free once more, determined to be reunited with his beloved family. His indefatigable spirit is sublime. This one protracted, uncut stretch of agonizing screen time of an agonizing act is to me the best and most powerful shot in 12 Years a Slave. It is the convergence of cinematic craftsmanship, of history, and outstanding character that demands we don't look away, and nor should we. Well, that's all I got. Take it or leave it. But I do want to know, what do you think is the best shot in 12 Years a Slave, and why? Thanks for watching.
Why are there so many movies?